If you don't know which wireless robot mower to choose, well, this video is made for you. I'm going to compare 3 really excellent robot mowers. You've probably recognized them. Here we have the Mova 600, the Yuka Mini from Motion, and the Navimow i105. These are robots for medium to small areas, up to 1200 square meters, and for gardens with few slopes. What I suggest is that we first start with the things they have in common, and then we'll see all the differences between these 3 robot mowers. And at the end of this video, I'll give you my opinion. Before starting, know that these are 3 robots I like. I'm not paid by any brand to say good things about them. I'll give my sincere and honest opinion. And if you want to order one of the robots, you'll find the link in the video description with some current promotions. The first thing in common will be the cutting height adjustment. It is done manually on all 3. On the Mova, it's from 20 to 60 millimeters. So it's here. We turn this, actually for the Yuka Mini, it happens here. It's kind of the same system. Also from 20 millimeters to 60 millimeters. And on the Navimow, it will also be from 6 centimeters to 2 centimeters. On the 3 robot mowers, we can control the robot directly on it. Here for the Yuka Mini and the Mova. So it happens at this level, these 3 mowers will also detect objects. On the Navimow, it will be the vision fence at the front. On the Yuka Mini, it will be the camera here, which also perfectly detects objects. And on the Mova, it will be its LiDAR at the front, which allows object detection. Overall, these 3 robots are quiet. They are also 3 affordable robot mowers. We can mention that as a common point. They are under 1,000 euros for most models. It will then depend on the model you choose. Also, each robot has a single cutting deck. The Mova will have 4 wheels with 2 driving wheels at the back. Serrated wheels, more or less the same as on the Yuka Mini. But the Yuka Mini will have much wider wheels, much thinner on the Mova. The diameter will be about the same. The Yuka Mini also has 4 wheels, and the Navimow also has 4 wheels with much thinner wheels, and the driving wheels will be at the front of the robot, unlike the other 2 robots which are at the back. Now, I don't know if that makes a big difference. In any case, for slopes, the Navimow will go up to 30%, while the Yuka Mini and the Mova will be 45%, even though I don't recommend any of the 3 for steep slopes. Another common point will be the carrying handle. It will be here for the Yuka Mini. For the Mova, it's underneath. And the Navimow, it'll be here with 2 small handles. These are also 3 robot mowers that are easy to install. We'll come back to the positioning system of each robot, which is different. We can also program the 3 robot mowers, tell them to mow on a certain day at a certain time. There's also a lot of safety. They are 3 waterproof robot mowers, and they are all covered by a 3-year warranty. In terms of mowing quality, I didn't find a big difference between the 3 robot mowers. The only difference is in the cutting deck. The Yuka Mini, as you saw, has 5 blades, and the other 2 have only 3 blades. That will make a big difference, especially if the grass is tall. The Yuka Mini will do better if you mow regularly, every 3 to 5 days. All 3 robot mowers do very well, and I find the mowing quality really top as long as you mow regularly. Before getting into the differences, know that you'll find the link for each of the robot mowers in the video description. The first big difference will be the positioning system of each robot mower. On the Yuka Mini and the Navimow, it's a system with an RTK antenna. Thanks to this antenna, the robot will position itself all over your garden. This system is completely free, and recently it's possible on the Yuka Mini to switch it to 4G if the RTK antenna doesn't work well at your place. That will allow the robot to position itself without an RTK antenna, only with 4G. On the Yuka Mini, 4G is free until the end of the year. Then it will cost 50 euros per year if you want it. You're not obliged to take it. And the Mova, it will be its LiDAR at the front that will allow it to map your garden. The LiDAR has a small laser beam that spins very fast inside and which measures the distance between the robot and the object. It allows a 3D mapping of the whole garden. I find the LiDAR function very good if you have a lot of trees, also if you have many buildings around, and if you think the RTK antenna won't work. Another difference between the 3 robot mowers is the rain sensor. The 2 robots here have a rain sensor. On the Mova, it's the LiDAR that acts as a rain sensor. Yuka Mini is on top. However, the Navimow has no rain sensor. It relies on your local weather. If it predicts rain, it will return to the station. Next, the Mova has no light at night. The Yuka Mini has a small light at the front which allows it to mow at night and especially to detect objects at night. That's what's most useful. The Navimow seems to have a small light here. About battery access, the Movas will be easy to access underneath. So we have to remove these 4 screws. Yuka Mini, same, super simple. You can unclip it easily. So it will be here. It's a battery you can unclip. For the Navimow, I haven't taken the robot apart, so I can't say. There aren't really any indications showing where the battery is. All 3 robots are rather light, easy to carry. Also, one important thing to know about the Mova, if you have a part of the garden that is separated and you have to carry the robot there because it doesn't have access, well, that won't be possible. But the Yuka Mini, you can carry it and bring it to another area where it has no access. The only one of the 3 robot mowers with a camera for video feedback is the Yuka Mini. So you can have a little video feedback on your smartphone, which is pretty practical, especially if you go on vacation. About the cutting deck, the Mova will have a 20 centimeter deck with 3 blades. As I said, easy to change blades. Enough space here so that grass doesn't pile up too much. Yuka Mini, it'll be a 19 centimeter deck with 5 blades. And the Navimow, an 18 centimeter deck with 3 blades. The difference will also be in mowing area. The Navimow will be able to go on a 500 square meter area, 600 square meter max. The Yuka Mini will have 4 models. The mowing area can go from 700 square meters to 1200 square meters, depending on the model you choose. And the Mova will have 2 models, the 600 and the 1000. It can go up to 1000 square meters. Another important and interesting thing, the battery autonomy. Unfortunately for the Navimow, I don't know. I think it's about 2.4 amp hours from what it mows per hour. The Yuka Mini, there are different models. It goes from 2.4 amp hours up to 6.1 amp hours for the Yuka Mini 800. And the Mower, it'll be 2.5 amp hours for both models. The app is pretty simple for all 3 robot mowers. In general, it's better to have the charging base near your house and the Wi-Fi. Then you don't need Wi-Fi in the garden for these 3 robot mowers to work. Wi-Fi is mainly for updates, and the Yuka Mini doesn't need Wi-Fi at all since it has 4G included until the end of the year. On the Navimow, you can add a little box to have 4G. That'll be a paid subscription too. And on the Mova, it seems you can also add 4G. Having tested these 3 robot mowers over several weeks and some for several months, I think they have a good price-performance ratio. Currently, you can find some of them at 700 euros or even 800 euros. I'll of course put all the links in the description if you want to know the price. I also find them pretty reliable for positioning, whether it's with the LiDAR system or the RTK antenna for the other 2 robot mowers. The installation is very simple on the 3 robot mowers, and for the Yuka Mini we have a version for up to 2000 square meter areas, and you can get 50 euros off the Yuka Mini. On the other 2 robots, unfortunately I don't have any promotional code to offer for now. If there is one, it'll be in the description. And tell me which one you think you'll choose. I'd love to know. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask in the comments. I'll answer you during the day. See you next time. Have a great day.